about podcast. We're talking about itty bitty podcast. A podcast. Merry Mini Monday, Chunkies. I'm Carter.
In this endlessly resonating chamber of serenity, bathed in the light of the sound of my friends' beautiful voices, I am known as Doge.
The vibrato was not coming naturally, so I did have to shake my entire upper body to get that sound to come out. I'm Jordan.
You had to shake that money maker.
My moneymaker is my torso, just to be clear.
Do you think I harmonize?
Moneymaker is legs up. I mean, there's very few people who moneymaker is legs down.
That's
Soccer
true.
players, Usain Bolt.
I think there's an entire subsection of the internet that would fully disagree with you.
No, legs down. I didn't say waist down.
No, I'm
Once
talking
the
about,
legs
I'm
start.
talking about them Tootsies, baby.
Oh, selling feet, the feet sellers, them too.
There'd be some
really,
feet sellers
so
out
really, it's only feet sellers,
There's some
athletes, and
feet
Usain
sellers.
Bolt.
Yes. What is Usain Bolt if not an athlete?
He's the personification of sport. I think
He
he's
is
more than an
sport.
athlete
He
at this
is
point.
sport.
Because his name is Usain Bolt.
Bolt
and
is
he's fast
perfect.
as a lightning bolt, right?
Yeah.
Right?
When I saw him in
it
a
would be-
Gatorade commercial, I was like, duh.
It would be like if Michael
Yep.
Jordan's name was James Dunkington.
Dude, there's actually a Tim Duncan, by the way, who's an incredibly
There
famous.
is.
And he do
Basketball
be
player.
Duncan.
He do be.
We can't forget
be
about-
Duncan.
Can't
do be
forget about
Duncan.
Anthony Weiner also.
Can't,
The three perfectly named people in the world.
Yes. Elon Musk, known for smelling good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jack Black, notably a swing and a
Notably
miss on
white.
the name.
Yeah,
Notably
Jack
a
White,
swing and a
Actually,
miss.
he's white.
Got it
Jack
right
White,
there.
Jack White, though, is already taken, which is probably why he
Didn't
had to
they
go
do a
with black.
project called
Translucent.
Jack Gray?
I think
Yes.
so.
No,
Yeah.
they only ever talked about it. I don't think they ever actually released anything.
Man, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
What a miss.
Yeah. Big bummer. Another big miss for those of you playing box office ball or even care about those box office numbers, Elemental made more money last weekend than The Flash. Did you know that?
That doesn't
I
surprise me.
think so.
The Flash
Yeah,
saw
I
a
think anything would've.
73% decrease
Man,
after its opening weekend.
No
that is abysmal.
way. Are you serious?
So people that have seen it, I have not heard from anybody who saw
need
it
video.
and disliked it. Everybody said it's like pretty fine.
Hey, hey, cool. Do you know who else? Do you know what other movie everybody that I talked to liked until they realized that they were tricking themselves? Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Not at all. Hated it the second I walked out of it.
There you go. This brings about
Checkmate.
an
Try
interesting
again.
conversation that I don't even know our podcast itself as an environment is the most appropriate for, but it's fine. I have us another space. But so Elemental, Pixar's made a bunch of stuff and it's phenomenal.
Sure have.
Always so good. But every now and then, Elemental comes out and you're like, "Brr," it's just elements in Zootopia. You know, it just feels like something we've seen before, but people are saying, hey man, don't sleep
Just
on
inside out
Elemental.
with water.
They're like, hey, don't sleep on Elemental, man. Don't do
I
that.
will sleep on Elemental.
And people are saying like, yo, everybody talking about that first episode of Secret Invasion. Don't sleep on Secret Invasion. There's been a lot of stuff out there in Marvel. Everyone in our Discord especially, maybe on the verge of leaving us forever because none of us have seen Andor.
Right.
Here it is, tagged at the end of all this stuff.
If you don't love me at my no thanks Andor, then you don't deserve me at my yes please everything else. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's great. That's a good point. Here's what I want
It's
to
a
do.
Marilyn Monroe quote for you.
I want us to start something new for conversations like this because it feels, as a researcher myself, one just on the
Something of a
precipice
scientist.
now of collecting data for my own research and hopefully becoming Dr. Chunk someday. I think it's time that we take a step into the laboratory. We beep Dr. Brown, message Dr. Malcolm, DM Dexter, and head over to the laboratory. Here in the laboratory, here's what I'd like from us.
DD.
Let's hypothesize. That's the beautiful thing about research, man. Just throw stuff against the wall. And most of
I
these
love
things of like,
hypothesizing.
huh?
I said I love hypothesizing.
Oh, yeah, big
Because it's
hypothesizing. Why do you
fine
think that
with no
is?
consequences.
Yeah,
Because
why
there's
do
no
you
consequences
think that
and I can't be proven wrong.
is? Exactly.
hypothesis.
So here's
I
the
can
question.
say whatever I want. Be like, just wondering.
I have two research questions for us today. One of them is simply, it's too vague for actual research, but why? Let's have a conversation as to Why are we out on these three things? And specifically, I'd probably want to spend most of my attention on Elemental, because as far as I can see, the correlation between Marvel and Star Wars was not only was there so much of it, there was a lot of bad of it. But as far as Pixar goes, not nearly as many misses. So why am I and why are we? I wouldn't even bring this up if it wasn't all of us. It feels like we're on the same page here. And then the second question I'd want to ask is, what is the thing that maybe doesn't have necessarily the breadth of a Marvel or a Star Wars in terms of IP, but there's been a lot of it and you have never been out, and why? You know? Like, what's keeping you in?
Still excited every time.
Still excited every time. We talked about it a little bit and even joked about it. For me specifically, Elemental did feel so similar. It feels no different. And I don't think I'm comparing it to everything else Pixar has done as I am just this formula for so many animated movies.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I think
sad.
Elemental lands in this spot for me where Pixar, Coco to me is the last truly great movie that Pixar made.
Phenomenal.
Coco is unbelievably good. And since then it's felt like, there's some pretty blatant money grabs that just didn't catch my attention. I have not seen Incredibles 2, Toy Story 4, Cars 9 or whatever they did.
Encanto is not Pixar,
Encanto is not Pixar.
Yeah.
Encanto is Disney Animation Studios.
It's great.
But it's not Pixar, so.
Yeah.
And then, Soul for
You
me,
have seen Cars 3, by the way. We did do a Patreon episode about Cars 3.
That was before Coco, though, huh?
No, that was after Coco. Oh, was it? I don't know.
I think it was before.
Maybe.
Either way, yes, you're right. But I saw Soul.
It was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people really loved it. I don't want to take that away from them. It was okay to me. I don't know.
Did you see Luca?
No.
Luca was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Do you see what the word we keep using, though? It just feels like Pixar, to me, has kind of lost its touch.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it is lost beyond regaining whatsoever. I think that Pixar has earned way too much respect for me to think that they can never get that touch back. But I'm just waiting for the next thing that feels original, which Soul, to its credit, fully original. And
very much so. There were concepts in Soul that were really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
really
didn't
awesome.
grab me. It just
What were your thoughts on Soul, Carter?
I like Soul. I think I loved ultimately like the culture of it. I loved the music.
Yeah.
I loved the graphics. I loved the interpretation of like an afterlife.
Yeah.
Was incredibly interesting. It was just
also
like
explored in Coco in a weird way. Like fascination.
It
with
was just like
existential questions.
our lead was not as quirky's not the word. It felt like the lead wasn't as interesting. Like Tina Fey's character was great.
Yeah.
But it just didn't feel like there were, I don't know, tons of layers. I don't know.
Can I be honest with you? I think that Brave is the most underrated Pixar movie to come out in the last 10 years. I think that Brave is really excellent.
Really? I've seen Brave one time and did not remember loving it.
I really liked it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's the best. Coco's the best to come out in the last 10 years, but Coco is rated correctly.
Mm-hmm. So I think the thing with Pixar is symptomatic. I think a couple of things. Number one, we're all growing older and aging out of the target demo of Pixar movies. And so like a small sample size, but us, we're never ever going to have a movie hit us and blow us away the way like Toy Story through Finding Nemo did, where it's just like there is nothing like this, because I think we're older and not as susceptible to those kinds of films anymore. I think there really at the time had never been anything like that, and it's not an emerging medium anymore. Pixar's not this like scrappy underdog studio doing stuff nobody's ever seen before.
You know
They're
what?
like a big industry powerhouse. I feel like that like scrappy underdog, like what is happening in this, has moved to like Sony Pictures Animation.
Agreed.
With things like Spider-Verse, things like The Mitchells versus the Machines. I think even DreamWorks taking a page out of the book with the new Puss in Boots movie.
That's great.
I think the Nickelodeon animation with the new Ninja Turtles stuff.
We've been watching The Challenge, MTV's The Challenge. It's a competition reality show that like it's like physical to the max. And they always have a sponsor during one of the episodes that's like, usually it's Burger King. It's like Burger King sponsored this, and the winner of today gets a Whopper feast, and they get to invite 5 friends or whatever. Like it's just to get money to pay for the show. And we just watched an episode from last summer that was like, And sponsoring today's challenge is DreamWorks Animation's Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, or whatever it's called. Yeah. And it was like the whole time everybody was doing the competition, there's a little Chiron in the bottom corner of Puss in Boots, like fencing. I don't know. It killed me. It just felt like the most capitalism in everything moment, but it made me laugh a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw somebody today. It's interesting, this conversation about growing older and almost like aging out of Pixar, which I never want to do. I will fight tooth and nail to stay.
Well, it feels like Pixar actively tries not to do that.
Agreed.
And I do think that the problem is deeper than that. I do think the scripts are weaker and the animation is less game-changing.
I do want to say, too, before Jordan gets to his point, I remember when there were going to be multiple Pixar movies released in 1 year. And how, I remember the feeling of that, of like excited, but like,
can they do this?
Because when you knew, like around Christmas or the summer, whenever it was, that was its regular release time.
Finding Nemo was going to come out.
Bro, the new Pixar thing was what everybody was talking about.
Yeah.
Which is also Marvel, if we're drawing correlations. Marvel was the same way.
For sure.
Also Star Wars.
It
used to be special because
Star Wars
it was rare.
had a special gap
anymore.
too, right?
Yeah.
It is pop culture. It's back for the 90s.
Gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I earlier today, I saw a friend of mine at the place I work come in and sit down with like a protein bar and a drink and like curl up in a chair and just like giggle about something somebody said. And I was just like, man, I love seeing what somebody was probably like as a kid come out as an adult. Because it was like fully like knees and legs up in the chair, just like zoned out face, eating a protein bar and just like idly laughing at something somebody said in the room. And I was like, man, I bet this is exactly what you were like as a child. And it I don't know. Something about that made me think of like, I don't ever want to, I think there's an increasing, I think it's like almost a response to or a continuation of the like hipster movement of the like 2010 to 2015 that everybody was a hipster that nobody understood. I think a continuation of that movement maybe is this like trying, caring, giving effort isn't cool. Do you know what I mean? And I just don't ever want to be that person. So I don't want to fault Pixar for swinging because I do think it's cool to try and care. I genuinely do.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like, it feels like the magic's gone. And I think I could appreciate the magic if it was still here. I really think that.
You know, I think the other thing is the scripts are not as universal because I think like Pixar, if I think of like original Pixar, it's like every single kid, when they close the door to their bedroom, they're like, I bet my toys came to life when I'm not looking.
Right.
Yes, dude.
Every single kid, when they're laying down to go to sleep, is like, there's probably a monster in my closet.
Right. Gosh, monsters.
Everybody knows what superheroes are. Like, it's so much more universal. And I think even things like Inside Out is like everybody has these emotions. And Inside Out somehow managed to feel universal in a way that I think Elemental is the most direct comparison. I've never, ever thought like, oh, dirt and water are probably neighbors, huh? I've never thought that.
I mean, I've thought that, but it was way more creative than what I've seen in the trailers. I think one way quickly, and then we'll move on to our second question after ads. We'll go to ads in a little bit. But one thing that I feel like might be a good measurable for us as we were talking about this is I guess we need only look to Halloween. What are kids wearing? Right?
Yeah.
It's like there's still Woodies and Buzzes out there. And yes, they have spread something that they knew was world-changing in movies and telling stories, and they've stretched it over 2.5 decades, right? But it's still there. And it wasn't until like I saw a lot of kids dressed as Coco with their parents, right? It's not like that can't come in and take somebody's spot. I saw Baby Yodas. I saw little Mandos.
Light himself on fire this year and be like, it's Elemental.
No, I'm saying it's not going to happen. It feels like there's something there's some barometer in us that's like, that's not it. Even as an adult, in whatever we can still attune ourselves to of like how kids feel about the world. But the kids I know, it's fun. I think it stands out if it's like, there's plenty of TV shows I know nothing about for little kids. And it's like a little superhero.
It's going to be
Mario.
And it's
some member of Paw Patrol. It'll be Mario for sure. Mario's coming back. But I don't think Pixar is not capable of it. I think they're still capable
not at all.
Doing things like that.
I think that I've never seen Elemental. I probably won't until it comes to streaming, and even then we'll see. But I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. And I would bet a solid $10 US that there is a Watergate joke somewhere in that movie for the adults.
Possibly. Possibly. Do we feel anything left from this first question unanswered? I mean, it feels like we've got all the right.
I mean, we solved it definitively, I think.
All right.
So
we'll just
don't ask again. I think we know the answer now.
Yeah. If you need the answer, we'll only refer to this because we don't necessarily have the energy to tell you again.
I'll send you the timestamp of this episode when I solved it on air for you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Let's take a break. We need it. We need an ad break to like rest our brains a little bit, you know? We're back. Let's touch on this second question.
My brain is so rested.
My brain is so
fresh.
rested.
I have so many new thoughts now.
So many brand new thoughts. This one might be a shorter answer, but...
Elemental just for the boys. It's Felemental.
Felemental.
This one's for the fellas.
This one's a haunted house. It's called Hellemental.
Dang!
Come now. Twilight fans, Bellemental.
Nice!
This one's a haunted house. It's called Skelemental.
Oh, we got another one.
Back to the well. Wellemental. Oops.
Oh, what does she sell? Shellamental. I don't know.
She's elemental, seashellamental by the seashore.
Shoramental. The second question was, is there something right now that has a lot of iterations of it and you're just still in no matter what? And why is that? I'm still not tired of Fast and Furious from the moment that I caught up to it. But there is an interesting thing too, to where if we go back to the first question, if someone had never seen Pixar before and they're binging as much Pixar as they possibly can, are they just high off of that? And now their fervor for seeing more Pixar is at a peak because they just want to go see all the Pixar. I don't know.
Do any Pixar movies have Jason Momoa painting the nails of two corpses?
Not yet.
Okay.
In a way that makes Vin Diesel angry?
Yeah, I sort of feel like that would change things. Can I be honest with you? Is that okay?
Nothing?
Is this a safe space?
Is it nothing?
Yeah.
I think the answer is nothing. And here's what I mean by that. I think that
Not Harry Potter.
I think that my personality, I think I am so willing, and it's both a good and a bad thing for me. But I think that I am so willing to cut virtually anything out of my life. Like, I think I'm just so willing to be like, this no longer serves me. Just like, blamp, get rid of it. If I'm not enjoying it or if it's not whatever. And sometimes that's not a good trait to have. For instance, if it's people. But I think when it's media, I think when it's media, I'm willing to give things second chances for sure. I definitely am. But I just think that there comes a point when I'm like, I know that this is a losing battle. And I'm just going to get my hopes up with this 8 out of 10. And there will never be another 10 out of 10 for this. Yeah. And I also think sometimes I'm able to be like, and that's okay, let's keep watching. But sometimes it's like, I'll use Star Wars as an example. I think I'll end up watching Andor someday when I'm old and gray. But I just think that right now, there's so many other things that are good, getting better, and actively improving on themselves that I'm just not willing. It's the same reason I haven't even considered starting to play Jedi Survivor yet. I will. I'll do that before Andor. Guaranteed. But I just think I have a hard time being like, Star Wars, you're always good, so why not try again? It's like, Star Wars, you're sometimes pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think that's good enough.
And I think you were accidentally good for Andor and Jedi Survivor.
I think
you didn't. You don't know what worked about them.
No, I think it's the teams. I think anything that has. I think the biggest symptom is anything that has like there's a TV branch and a movie branch and a video game branch and a comics branch.
Yeah, but if it's all cinematic TV, I'm in. Yep. There's a lot of things that they just need a better season. Or I can tell this season was a fill of the gap season and there's still things I enjoyed about it.
Yep. Don't give me a discounted TV version of something that should be movies, you know?
No.
Yeah, sure. I think for me, there are very few franchises that I'm just like, ooh, a new blank. Like, I think I'm not like, ooh, a new Star Wars. Ooh, a new Marvel. I'm in regardless.
Yeah.
I think
specific creators, is that what you're about to say?
I think specific creators, I think as far as franchises go, maybe Zelda is the only one that I'm like, ooh, no matter what, I'm in 100%. I cannot think of another franchise, and I'm sure as soon as I'm editing this episode, I'll be like, oh yeah, dude, you should have said these 4 things. But I think like there are creators like new Denis Villeneuve. I don't care what it is. I'm going to go see it.
Always.
New Jordan Peele. I don't care what it is. I'm going to go see it.
I also think there's something to be said for. There's a lot of things that only have one really good thing out that I'm excited for the next one to see if it is, man, this studio rules or. For instance, I haven't started it yet, but season 2 of The Bear is getting crazy buzz. I just know it's going to smack because season 1's phenomenal. So I'm so excited about season 2. I'm playing through Hades right now, just kind of for fun.
Cool.
And Hades 2 comes out soon. You better believe
months,
I'm getting. I think it's actually in like alpha this year and actually out next year. Which is a bummer.
No, I thought it was like a late summer release. I thought it was like August.
I think it's fall. It's out in alpha on PC.
Writer's strike, bro.
Man,
it even affects hell.
But there's things like that where it's like there's one really good thing out and I'm excited to see what comes next, but I don't know that there's any franchises that just have my undying loyalty.
Like a logo that if you see a logo, it's like, ooh, a new Indiana Jones or like a new Transformers.
I will see, here's what I've decided for me in terms of a flavor for a production company. I'll see any A24 movie by myself in a theater.
Yes, sir.
I don't care what it is. I'm in for any. I don't care, dude. It takes me places nothing else is taking me right now. And I'm like, okay.
Even if
comedy,
it rips your heart out of your
chest.
Sure,
yeah, I'm down for that. I'm terrified now. I'm not gonna.
So it sounds like what I'm hearing us say is that we have a hard time investing. I think season 2 of a TV show is maybe an outlier, but like for me, I have a hard time investing in. Like I have a hard time wanting to watch Secret Invasion, even though I know it's good. Because I think we've maybe talked about it on the show before, there's the analogy of like when you're telling a story, every detail that you share with your listener or your viewer is a brick that they're picking up and putting in their backpack that they're carrying on their journey with you. And they're doing that in good faith that eventually you're going to get where you're going and these bricks are going to be used to build something they've never seen before.
Yeah, right.
And I think Marvel has overloaded my backpack.
I would say build something
or is at least satisfying. Yeah. I think Marvel has overloaded my backpack.
Sure.
And like I'm a comic book fan. So I'm used to having a pretty full backpack.
Right.
But I think I have so little faith that any of these big mega franchises are going to actually use all the bricks they're telling me I really do super important have to carry to build anything worthwhile.
I think we are in the era of, if I may, I think it's sounding like for the three of us, the most important quality is not franchise, branding, or world that something is set in, but the most important thing is actually vision. And it sounds like we're really, truly in the era of I'm following creators more than I am following their creation.
Yeah. I'm not even out on Survivor ever until Jeff Probst is gone.
Correct.
Right.
Because I know he's more than the host. And so it's like,
because I like Jeff more than I like Survivor.
I'll be reading the articles with a fine-tooth comb, making sure who his predecessor is before.
Correct.
I just sign my life away, continued. I'll watch whatever the next season is.
Whatever Vince Gilligan makes next, I'm in. Whatever.
Sure.
Is it by the way, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, or is it, do I have those backwards? Yeah. Phil Lord and Chris Miller?
You're right.
Dude, whatever they make next, I'm absolutely watching.
Ethan Coen has a new movie out without his brother. But I'm down for that. It looks great.
You mentioned Vince Gilligan. His next project is confirmed to be an Apple TV Plus original series starring Rhea Seehorn.
Yes,
sci-fi series.
Sir. I want Rhea Seehorn to be the biggest name. She is the
incredible dude,
unsung, but also kind of sung hero,
also appropriately sung. Yeah,
Better Call Saul. She's phenomenal. Her direction in the episode she directed was incredible.
Yeah.
I'm just obsessed with her. She's unbelievable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so good. But yeah, that's great. It's creators. There's actors that I'm interested in anything that they do, but also know that it doesn't feel as strong to me, as following a creator. Sure, for something else. Man, well
I think
done.
that's why we like Vin so much, because Vin is like genuinely like it sounds like a joke, but Vin is a creator, and like I really am so I don't even know if I like or appreciate, but I am so intrigued by his vision for what a blockbuster should be.
That's good.
That I'm going to watch every Fast and Furious movie forever because of his very unique and special brain.
Yeah.
Do you guys on TikTok or I guess Carter in a few months when you get it on Instagram Reels, the guy
when you see it on Facebook,
the guy that does I can't remember what he sings. It's like Crazy Something Friday Night. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What does he sing? What's the words? Do you know what
Crazy. It's just Crazy Friday Night.
Crazy Friday Night or something like that. Yeah, whatever he sings. And he's like, what's up, everybody? He's just this old guy. He's like, I'm out on the beach. It's time again. Here we go. Crazy Friday Night. And it's like, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I followed him. And that is Vin Diesel to me, where it's just like, I'm not watching this dude's TikToks because I'm like, man, he's funny. I'm watching it because like he's funny.
How
like, he's
interesting.
an interesting fella.
It's accidental postmodern art.
100%.
With no,
100%.
It's accidental like visual Dadaism.
It's Jackson Pollock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, is this art? If you say it is.
Yeah. Okay. You definitely
You're
think
consuming
it is.
so it must be.
I might be missing something, or maybe you are. I'm intrigued if you are missing something. I'm in. It's like, it's interesting. It's going to be a good segue for our episode tomorrow because we're talking about a Wes Anderson movie. And there's a lot of people, and that's part of why I wanted to bring up this question for us today. By the way, good work in the lab, boys.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
In the laboratory.
We're out here changing the world, saving lives.
There's a ton of people that it feels like they're loyal and are going to see every Wes Anderson thing. Mm-hmm. And I think of Barbenheimer, which is something that we'll be doing as a podcast.
Very
and
excited.
We didn't come up with that
wait.
name that's all over the internet. But we got a tagline.
I do think we said it
ours.
before I read it anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It came to us organically.
I've seen Barbieheimer, like Barbieheimer. I haven't seen Barbenheimer.
Okay, that's fine. I'll take it.
Barbenheimer sounds much more powerful.
It's
Yeah,
definitely
it does.
like triple IPA for sure. But
Yeah.
Barbenheimer, both Greta Gerwig and Chris Nolan in different ways, right? They have the same thing too.
Yep.
I'm more Greta right now.
Same, I think weirdly.
I think I am too.
Here's what's so interesting. I don't know if y'all followed the poll on Instagram. We had over 100 people respond to a poll that we had on Instagram. That was basically saying like, hey, these are both coming out. What are you most excited for if you had to pick one between Oppenheimer and Barbie? And about 68% said Barbie.
Yeah.
I think I'm there as well. However,
I mean, Oppenheimer's going to be good.
Christopher Nolan
Oppenheimer looks incredible.
pretty much never lets me down. I even love Tenet, and I know that's sort of his most
same.
like controversial.
I still haven't seen Tenet, though. I haven't seen Tenet.
I haven't either.
Tenet's awesome. Mm-hmm. I love Christopher Nolan, and I love Cillian Murphy. So I am
I'm
so
stoked out of my gourd.
This is his. I feel like this is his most like star-studded cast too.
Hundo.
It's pretty up there.
Billion.
It really doesn't. I am intrigued by awards season. I love awards season. It is a bit of a crossover of my love for the Bravo channel because here's real people not playing their characters, but they're dressed nice and they have a lot of expensive things and there's maybe drama. But this could be Murphy's. I mean, he'll be nominated, I'm sure.
I hope so.
For this. And I think that'd be so fun because he's amazing.
Has Nolan ever been nominated for Best Picture?
Has to have been. Has to have been. I bet Dark Knight was.
Interstellar
Was
might
it?
have been. I can look that up for us.
I don't think that Dark Knight was because I think Black Panther made history for being the first superhero feature nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark Knight was
I don't think the Dark Knight
first to
was.
get an acting.
I would be shocked if Nolan's never been nominated for Best
might
Picture or
not
Best
have,
Director.
Regardless, Oppenheimer feels the most baity for the Oscar, the most like potential for Oscars. That one in like Dunkirk feels the most like something the Academy would
He's
love.
been nominated for 5. Yeah.
Okay.
But for directing, though, Dunkirk
that makes sense.
is it. Everything else has been writing. He got writing for Memento, Inception, Dunkirk.
No Prestige.
No Prestige.
Interesting.
But I think, you're right. I think especially with the historical relevance, the context
it's a
of
biopic.
it,
I love
Oscars
that
loves
stuff.
that.
I think that's also part of it is like, as somebody who really likes Christopher Nolan, knowing that he's such a history nerd and gets to make this movie about history makes me excited because I know he's been stoked about this.
This is like anytime Cameron goes underwater.
Yep.
You're like, yeah.
Dude?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anytime
I heard
Nolan's
somebody
like,
describe.
there were Brits doing something important? Okay.
What you mean?
I heard somebody describe this movie as the Avengers for nerds, which is exciting.
So just the
Because it's like Einstein.
Yeah.
It's just like everybody's here.
Einstein and J. Robert Oppenheimer.
over under on I Am Become Death Destroyer of Worlds.
100%
think so? I think
in.
so,
It's
too.
going to happen. 100%.
Whole
Yeah.
speech?
I think it's the final line of the movie. I think I Am Become Death, Destroyer of Worlds, cut to black.
Ooh,
probably a Hans Zimmer.
Preemptive
A Hans Zimmer.
chills.
Pimples. Do you think
Is
he'll do
Hans,
that this time?
is Hans up on that boy?
I actually don't think it is. I actually don't think it's Hans on this one.
Who is it?
Let me check. I want to say Ludwig Göransson, but I might be wrong.
Also fine. I love that Göransson.
It's Ludwig. Ludwig. Yep. This is his second time working with Nolan. He did Tenet with him.
Tenet's pretty good. I feel like a lot of people didn't like it. I liked it.
I didn't see it.
Wrap this episode, I have a big announcement.
Oh, I forgot already.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot already. We don't
Friends
know
of ours.
this. Only Carter knows this.
Friends of the podcast, Courtney and Caleb Smith, are looking to adopt a child. And they had a fundraiser.
So if you know of any.
Yes,
silent auction.
So if you know of any unclaimed babies.
Silent auctioned several things as like fundraising. Two Chunks was one of the sponsors for that. We were able to basically say, hey, we will put up for auction the opportunity to pick a movie for us to review. Any movie.
By the way, all the warm and fuzzies that they even thought of us for the. I'm
so
blown away. Blown away.
Incredibly
so
honored.
honored.
We made a list of like some 30 odd people and it's just awesome. It's awesome to be a part of that community. That was so cool.
Yeah.
And so we had a winner named Abby Watson. Abby DM'd us on Two Chunks and a Hunk, and she has made a decision as to what she wants to do. First of all, congratulations, Abby. Thank you for spending money
Abby Watson.
For the I don't really want to know how much we cost. I don't want to know.
Do you think it would make us feel better or worse?
That's why I don't want to know.
Fair.
$12.
Yeah, if the world knew that's all it cost.
So I'm 6 and you guys are each 3 in that case, right?
That's probably it. Two Chunks and a Hunk, yes. She has chosen the movie for us to review.
I'm so nervous.
It is one we have not done before, which, by the way, we all agreed we would do one we've done before. Yeah. We're totally down for that. It is the movie version of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Joseph and the Technicolored Dreamcoat.
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
With Donny Osmond. Have you seen that?
I've heard the soundtrack.
No. I grew up on this.
I did Close Every Door
VHS.
Performance Lab.
Yes. Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat is coming to a Two Chunks near you.
Cool.
Heck
yeah, that's awesome.
Gonna be so
exciting.
interesting. Abby, thank you. Thank you. To end today's episode, I'd love to have your name and give me the name of a musical that you are currently working on, because I know you are, biblically based musical that you are working on.
I was already
I'd love a name
joke on accident.
This might be tough because, it's a little bit outside of our career zones, our comfort zones. But if you can manage that.
Some Bible music. Think you can handle that?
If you like to talk to tomatoes.
I'm still thinking. You already have it? You already have yours?
I was accidentally thinking of this joke separately from you saying it.
Wow.
Don't worry. I'm fudging the rules appropriately.
Because I'm asking for the title of your musical.
Oh, yeah. No, I got it. I got it. Speaking of the Bible, I cleared Hades for the first time last night. It's a roguelike. It's a roguelike, so you're supposed to beat it over and over again and like evolves every time you play it. And I cleared it for the first time, and it was a sweaty 28 minutes that it took me to clear.
Jeez.
Which actually, I looked it up, is pretty quick for your first clear. 28
Way to
minutes.
go.
Felt good. I just got the perfect build. I had a spear that was like a machine gun. I was just walking around holding down
People
Y.
have long told me that I have the perfect build, and I honestly don't see it, but
It's because of that spear you carry around everywhere.
I'm currently writing a musical.
There it is.
And it's called Prodigal. It's basically based off of the story of the prodigal son. It's just called Prodigal. It's going to be great.
Very good. Really scraping the bottom of the barrel for that one, huh? Working on
everything else.
On a musical
everything
called
else
Goliath.
was.
It's about Goliath.
Nah, dude. Everything else was TVMA. I'm over there in Song of Solomon, bro. I was like, burlesquing up in here.
Sure.
You can't do that.
You think Cher would
Speaking
come
of burlesque, I'm Dosh, and I'm doing a remake. It's called Prince of Egypt, and it has our good friend Leah Michelle's in there singing a bunch of songs from by Sia and like probably Katy Perry, and it's kind of just the Moulin Rouge-ification of the Prince of Egypt, but it is set in a high school with I think there's a character named Finn, and it's probably going to come on Fox. So
my favorite part of that musical is the part where Pharaoh is like,
"Love you, Ryan Murphy.
Once you do this, Moses, there's no going back."
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm actually working on...
Moses is like 12 plagues in the house tonight.
He turns the river into wine, no, it's blood. Sorry.
It'd be so sick if it was wine.
It would be.
I'm working on a biographical musical about the life of my favorite Bible hero, Donny Osmond. And this musical is called Less is Mormon.
Oh, whoa.
Great.
There you go.
Great. Is the sequel
Less
to
is
Book
more,
of Mormon?
man.
Yeah.
Huh? Funny.